Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and I'm a Christian booktuber who loves all things bookish related, and I include spice and language ratings in all of my reviews. And welcome to probably one of my all-time favorite videos to film, and that is the ultimate book video, meaning we try and do as many bookish related things as possible in one video. So today we got some book organizing, book shopping, book haul, updating my reading journal, and just overall having a grand old time doing some fun bookish things. So let's get into it. Okay, so something that I would like to work on is reorganizing my bookshelves because it's gotten a little chaotic for sure. I definitely have way more books than I have room for, but that's okay. Sadly, I don't really have the space or the budget to buy more bookshelves at the moment. Hopefully in the future that can change, but I'm hoping that I can reorganize them in a way that makes it a little bit easier to access the books I haven't read yet, but also to maybe display some of my special editions in a better way versus just having them stacked or spined out. So I'm going to work on that, and I have like 30 minutes left in the Throne of Glass audiobook, which I'm doing a reread of. So I think I might listen to that while I reorganize my bookshelves, but then also maybe start another audiobook. Which one? I don't know yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. All right, we're getting all up close and personal here. Also, why I love having more sunlight in the evenings because it gives me more of a chance to film. I hate how it just comes right through the shades and blinds me, so we're working with the lighting that we got. But so far, I wanted to kind of show my setup and thought process here. So I do have my TBR cards. These are my more priority reads. There's also some random arcs on the back side of here that I didn't know where else to put. Then we have more of my TBR shelf. Basically any book that I purchased recently, I try and stick on here. And then these are all of my crafting supplies, which honestly I could really use this third shelf for some books. So I might see if I can find a different spot for my craft supplies to hopefully open it up and give me more space to put some unread books. And then if we swivel over here, again, ignore the lighting. Just straighten you guys out. Hold on. Here we go. We're good. And then what I'm thinking over here is maybe seeing if I can open up another one of these shelves for unread books so that any books I have read are more towards the top of my bookshelf. And then as you kind of go down, any unread books I can have down here. But again, not a lot of space to work with. So I'm going to do my best. We'll see how long this takes. I think I'm just going to start by pulling off all of the books that are on my main shelf that I have not read yet and seeing how much room that maybe opens up here.
The ocean, love you in slow motion, anything it takes to make you stay, but I can't rely on you, doesn't matter what I do. You say you need a time, I think you mean a buyout, cause it's pretty clear you're on your way out. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart.
Oh boy, okay, so that took way longer than I anticipated. Roughly an hour and a half in order to get that done. So much so that the sun has now disappeared. Yeah, so lighting's not that great, but how about a bookshelf tour? Do you want the house tour? I can take you to the first, second, third floor. Anywho, okay, bookshelf tour. So, didn't really touch much up here. These are still got my classics, kind of some rare books, and then some memoirs. And then this is mostly fantasy. Yes, I have read all of these books, which it's honestly kind of satisfying to see. Second shelf here, fantasy kind of moves over. These are all like my special edition pretty sprayed edges ones. And then some of my sprayed edge romance, as well as hardcover romance in random Divine Rivals fantasy there, but I've also read all of these, which again is satisfying to see. And then second shelf here, I did have a small stack that I could not fit, but I have read all of those books as well as all of these. And this is mostly a mixture of, gosh, what is it a mixture of again? Oh yeah, mystery thriller, got some paperback romance in there, as well as just a couple general literary fictions sprinkled throughout. And I couldn't fit this Samurai Turn Birdie box set, so it now gets displayed. I hope it feels special. And then we pop down to the TBR shelves. Okay, so I have not read any of these books on either one of these shelves, but I feel like this is going to be so much easier to grab from. It is kind of nice to see, okay, what books have I not read yet? And they're just kind of all in one spot, which is really nice for sure. And then we go over here. So this is also more TBR. Yes, I recognize that my TBR is quite large. Okay, don't judge me. So I took my craft supplies out from the bottom shelf like I talked about, put more books that I need to read in, and then, yeah, just kind of cleaned this up a little bit, reorganized it. Didn't really touch much on my TBR cart, but that's okay. And so, yeah, still need to figure out where to put all the craft supplies, but that's a later Sarah's problem. But yeah, so we'll back it up here so you can get the full effect. This is my little reading corner. I think what I'm going to do now is go put some pajamas on. I did finish my reread of Throne of Glass, and honestly, my ratings and thoughts hadn't changed too much. I did enjoy it more the second time around, and I definitely did pick up on some stuff that I completely forgot about or completely glanced over. So that was really cool for sure. Spice-wise, there is no spice in it, kisses only, and the language is pretty mild. Kind of a couple terms here and there, but nothing too crazy. And then I did start the audiobook for Just Friends by pham, which I already know that there is no spice in this book, so that's going to be nice for sure. I'm only on like chapter 3, but honestly, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving her writing style and just kind of the setting and the atmosphere that she's already starting to build for her book. So I'm going to continue to listen to that, get some PJs on, audiobook. Oh, I should probably eat. You're going to eat some dinner, okay? Because that's important too. And yeah, probably just call it a night after that. Y'all, it is so windy today. It's absolutely crazy. Sorry, there's somebody in the car next to me. Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. Anywho, the wind today is absolutely crazy, but this video would not be complete without book shopping, so we're gonna persevere, fight the wind, hopefully don't blow away. But I'm currently sitting outside of Half Price Books. I have not been to this location in a while, so I'm curious to see if there's anything new, anything that kind of stands out to me. I don't have too much on my radar right now, maybe only like 1 or 2 books I'm interested in. We'll see if they have them. If not, I might honestly just also go to Barnes & Noble, but who knows, I may be fighting with this wind. Because I think my weather app said it's 30-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, which if you live in the Midwest, you know that is no joke. Like literally my car is shaking right now. It is so windy. But anywho, let's go book shopping, shall we?
Cool
Okay, holy cow, finally made it back home. Jeez, that wind is ridiculous. Also, there's like sunlight reflecting off of a car down in the parking lot, so apologies if I have a little glow on the face. Anywho, but let's do a book haul, shall we? So starting off from Half Price Books, I ended up with 2 books from them. The first one being The Blonde Who Came In From the Cold. This is actually the sequel to The Blonde Identity, which I have not read the first one yet, but this one looked like a brand new hardcover. And then I opened it up and there was actually a sticker on the inside, as well as this little comic strip, which I assume would make sense once I read the book. But honestly, I just thought that was super cool, and so I decided to go ahead and get the sequel, especially since it's still available in hardcover, because I have the first book in hardcover, and now I'll have a little matching set. Which the first one is pink, and then the second one is blue, and honestly, I love this color combo, and I honestly really like the plaid spines too. I think that's a really, really unique and a standout type of series. So I'm excited to read these. And then I also picked up First Lie Wins by Elston. I have been wanting to read this book for so long, but honestly, anytime I see it or I see like a used copy at a used bookstore, I'm just never really intrigued by it. And then this one happened to be in the clearance section, which you know me, I love a good bargain. So I ended up only getting this hardcover for $5, which is insane. Which this one follows, I think she's a hit woman for hire. It says Evie Porter has everything a nice southern girl could want. A doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. The only catch, Evie Porter doesn't exist. The identity comes first, Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and a location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. Then the mark, Ryan Sumner, the last piece of the puzzle, is the job. I've heard some good reviews about this one, and some of the blurbs on the back are by some of my other favorite mystery thriller authors, so glad I finally got to pick up this one. Then moving on to Barnes & Noble. This is not bookish related, but I thought these were the cutest ever, but they're wrapping paper rolls. Like, look at those. And they were only $3 each, which again, I love a good deal. But honestly, since becoming a reader, my favorite thing to gift is books that I love, and I feel like these half-size rolls are just the perfect size to wrap up books. So I got those. And then I did pick up Killer Instinct, which is the second book in the Natural series by Jennifer Lundberg. But I wanted a physical copy of it because honestly, I've kind of been enjoying reading physical books more. I don't know, I go through phases. Which if you're unfamiliar with the series, it follows Cassie, who has a special ability where she can look at somebody and immediately know everything about them just based off of their profile. So she's literally a human profiler. And her, along with some other people kind of with special abilities, gets recruited by the FBI to join this program called the Naturals, where they learn to hone their skills, and then they end up assisting the FBI in tracking down serial killers and also solving crime, which is really cool. So this is the second book in that series. I'm excited to continue it. Then I didn't know that this author came out with a new book until I saw it at half price, but the copy they had was not in the best condition, so I decided just to pick it up at Barnes & Noble, and that is No Matter What by Cara Bastone. I have only read one book by Cara Bastone. I have the other one by her on my shelf, which I haven't read yet. The one I read, I remember enjoying the writing story. I didn't quite connect with the characters though, but I enjoyed it enough to where I wanted to continue and read her other books. And so this is her new release for 2026. It says Roz and Vin can't look each other in the eyes anymore, let alone
It's been a year since they survived a life-altering accident, and their marriage hasn't been the same. But Roz has held out hope that they can fix things until she discovers Vin has signed a new lease. So she does whatever soon-to-be divorced Manhattanese would do, sign up for a figure drawing class. As Roz works to capture the wholeness of the person she fell in love with, will they both be able to draw upon the feelings they bury deep inside and finally heal together? So it sounds like kind of a little bit of a slow burn second chance romance, a little bit of a redemption story. Like I said, I have read Ready or Not, and I really enjoyed her writing in that. Again, not so much the characters or the storyline, but what I also love about Cara Bastone is I think she just has the cutest covers ever, so I picked up that one. And then the last one I picked up might seem a little silly, but it makes sense in my brain, and that is Throne of Glass. I have read Throne of Glass twice now, but the copy I have is the original copy that is no longer in print, and so I really want to annotate the Throne of Glass series, but because this is a little bit rare of a book, I was scared to actually mark in it. Plus, the rest of the series matches this style of cover, and so series always have to match, in my opinion, on a shelf. I decided to pick up this one, but then I can annotate this, mark it up as much as I want, and then still have kind of like a really cool rare book on my shelf. So that is my book haul for this video. I am going to go eat some chicken tenders, okay, because it's lunchtime and I'm starving. Put some comfy clothes on, but I also kind of need to do a little bit of a Sunday reset because my house is a mess right now. But for now, let's go eat some food, shall we?
So something that I would like to work on and update is actually my reading journal. Now, I do use Goodreads and Fable to track my reads, but I honestly like keeping a reading journal too, just because it's more customizable. I feel like I can be a little bit more honest in my reviews. I include kind of like some fun games in here to keep me motivated in my reading. And it's just a fun little cozy hobby where I get to combine crafting with my love of books. So this is just a blank dot grid journal from the company One Canoe 2. I'll link them down below in case you want to go get your own. And what I really like about these journals specifically is obviously it's got a nice elastic closure. It comes with a little bookmark, but then also it lays flat, which is really nice, especially when I'm writing in it, making notes, doing drawings. And then this also kind of doubles as like a little bit of a pen loop. So just to kind of show off my reading journal a little bit, when you first open it up, I kind of have this reading page here, and over on this side I keep meaning to put kind of my rating system, where what does it mean when I give a book a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 1-star, and then I just kind of use that as like a little guide and a little reminder to look back on when I am actually sitting down to rate books. And then the next page is a bookshelf. I actually copied this from another booktuber who I think posted it on Pinterest as well. And of course I can't remember her name, but I'll make sure to give her credit and link her down below. So I definitely copied this page from her. And then I'm trying something different where I'm actually color coordinating based off of the genre that I would read. Whereas in the past, I would fill it in based off of it if it was an audiobook, physical book, library book. But in my journal from last year, I just found it kind of turning into a lot of the same color, especially since I really got into audiobooks last year. So I'm trying something different more with the genres, and then when I fill in a book, depending on what genre that book is, I fill it with a color, and then I have like a little color guide down here at the bottom. And then this is my reading goal, where for every single book that I finish, I fill in a little square. So we definitely got to update this, and then I just have some reading goals kind of down here in the corner too overall for the year. I'm not planning on reading 90 books total. That is just what I read last year, so I'm kind of using that as a basis for this year. I think I set my Goodreads and my Fable reading goal to 26 books because one of my goals this year is to read quality over quantity. I also want to focus on my TBR pile, which I did just film a really massive book haul video that may be up by the time this video goes up. I don't know. I'll let you know for sure. So far, not really keeping to that goal so far this year, but that's okay. We still got plenty of time to go. And then keep up with this journal and then just write down my thoughts more in general. I'm really bad about writing reviews. And then if I'm thinking about a book, I go back to see what my thoughts were, and there are no thoughts that I have written down anywhere. So trying to be better about that. Then the next page is my series tracker. So every single series that I'm either in the middle of or I would like to start, I'm going to put here. And then I usually like to fill it in as soon as I start a series, which is why this side is mostly blank. But yeah, so far in the middle of quite a few series, so definitely got to get cracking on that too. And then the next page is these are the 26 books that I'd like to read in 2026, which I did film a whole video on, so you can go check that one out if you would like. And this just kind of helps me visualize what books I have on my list, and then I put little check marks above the book when I do actually read it. And we have kind of some fun bookish games. Over on this side, we have book bingo, which I'm aiming for blackout, and I just color coordinated it to match the page. There's no reason to the specific colors that I use. reviews. And then over here we have the A to Z challenge, where I try and read a book where the title starts with every single letter of the alphabet. I have yet to actually complete the whole alphabet. I have gotten close. I think in 2024 I got all but like X, Y, and Z. So I'm hoping that maybe this year I can actually finish the whole alphabet. And we have my reading stats page. This is where I just kind of have like a little graph chart. Sorry, my cat's getting in the way. Hey. What's your deal, huh? Anywho, so I have a little graph chart to show how many books I've read each month, and then I'll connect the lines at the end of the year. And then I also track how many audiobooks, physical books, library books, ebooks, or books where I did like a combo of physical audiobook. And so I'll just do little tally marks down here at the bottom for that. And then over here is my daily reading tracker, which is just kind of my version of what Fable already does, but this one I like to put little check marks for when I actually do finish a date, so I can kind of overall see, okay, what is my like average reading pace throughout each month. And it's just kind of fun to see all of the different colors once it is actually filled in. And I also have my new releases page, where this is where I write down any new release that I am anticipating this year. It just kind of helps me to have them all in one place. And then I thought the mushrooms was a cute little add to it. And we have my book haul page. This is where I keep track of every single book that I purchase each month, just because I can tend to forget when I purchase a specific book. I usually try and keep the receipt in the book, but sometimes that doesn't always work out the best. And then once I do actually read a book, I'll go off and check it off my list. If I unhaul a book, I'll make sure to cross it out, and it just kind of helps me visualize and also keep my book purchasing habit in check. And then I have an extra blank page so that I can make sure I can track all 12 months. And we have my rereads page, which I do need to print off a couple pictures to fill in, because I actually have already reread quite a few books this year. I want to kind of actually reread some of my 5-star reads. I don't reread books often, and so I want to kind of explore that a little bit more, especially if I'm in a reading slump. I've noticed that rereading a 5-star read really helps me kind of get out of my reading slump. And then of course we have my DNF graveyard, which I've only officially DNF one book so far this year. Might turn into 2, we shall see. I did soft DNF a couple books already this year. We'll see if I actually do end up picking them up, or if I just decide to never finish them. And then we get into kind of each monthly spread. So each month I try and pick a little theme, and then I'll do like a little doodle, little bullet journal spread. And then the books that I read each month, I'll kind of do like a little overview just with the star rating. And then you get into my actual thoughts and reviews for the books themselves. This is kind of a template that I discovered that just works really well for me, where I print off the picture, I write down the book, the author, what I rated it, how did I read that book, did I listen to it, so the format, the genre, and then I write down the dates of when I started and finished that book, and then I write down just like a quick little review on what I actually thought. And I do tend to be kind of brutal and honest in my reading journal, because I know I'm really the only one that's going to be reading this. And then at the end of each month I usually do like a little wrap-up page. So that's January. I did do a little collage page for the Rose Bargain, because that was a 4.5-star read for me. I really enjoyed this series, and I was fortunate enough to read an arc of the sequel, which actually comes out in April. And so I just kind of did a little collage. I included some quotes from the book that I highlighted in my Kindle, and I just find it's really fun to do this with books or series that I really enjoyed, and just kind of have like a little nod to my favorite series and books. Then we have February, which I do definitely need to fill out. I did like a Valentine's Day theme, and then I need to print off some pictures of my February reads and kind of finish writing in my thoughts. And then March, I did this little mushroom theme, which I think is super cute. And then I do need to fill in and write down my thoughts for the books that I've read so far in March. So that's kind of my goal, is to get them updated. And how I do these little pictures and how I print these off is I will put them in a Google Word doc, and I have specific sizes that I know fit within my journal. And then I'll actually print them on some contact sticker paper, which is really nice, because then I can just cut out the picture and then stick it on and not have to worry about glue or tape or anything like that. So I'm going to update my reading journal and probably continue listening to an audiobook and do just kind of like some fun cozy crafting here.
I don't
Okay, so that took way later than anticipated, but honestly, it has been a while since I've been able just to kind of have a chill, cozy day. So I'm very grateful for that. I got a majority of my journal updated. There's still a couple reviews that I need to go and write in, but as far as the trackers and getting pictures printed, I got caught up on that. I'm eventually gonna have to come back and do a March spread, but we'll save that for another day. And I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as go check out my Instagram page for more bookish content. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!